What's going on, everybody? I'm Gary from Dixie Overland, here with my Gladiator brother from another mother, Lee, and we are going to do an install of a USB charging port for the back seat.
So one thing I discovered after getting the Gladiator is on the sport model, you don't have USB chargers in the back. And if you have teenagers, this is going to be a big deal, especially when you're on road trips. You don't want anybody plugging into the USB ports that are already installed, because you're going to get a guest on your infotainment system, especially when you're in high traffic. So what we have here is the Nylite QC 3.0 USB charger with cigarette lighter socket. And what's really cool is that it's pre-wired, 12 volt to 24 volt, dual USB charger, and it's a quick charger. It's pretty cool. So as we're looking at it, what we have is we already have the assembly. So on the assembly on the left side, we have our quick charge 3.0 USBs and also the 12 volt cigarette lighter. It also comes with the wiring harnesses that are really simple. The instructions are pretty easy to read. It's positive to positive, negative to negative, and also comes with splicing units. Now, for most of us that have already spliced before, I went ahead and just went to our local auto parts store and picked up the quick splicers for about $5. This whole unit right here, $14.95, let's say $15, and $4 for this. It's all less than $20. You can pick all of this up on Amazon. Gary's going to link all the information in the description below. The first step of this is actually really simple. All you need is a screwdriver with a T20 Torx bit on. You remove these two screws right here. This one on the right and this one on the left. Once you get those out, it'll release the tension on that back panel that we're going to remove here shortly. Now that we have removed the two screws from inside the middle panel, all we have to do is just grab the panel right here on the top and pull back towards the back seat. Make sure you pull suddenly, use a little bit of strength to it, because it is clipped in. So try not to break anything, have to spend more money so your wife gets mad at you. Now, once we get to this piece right here, we have to remove these two power couplings. So this little red clip, you just pull it back towards you. Pull that off. Come to the little white one. Push in. Use your fingernails. Pull that one out also. So now you've removed the entire power assembly. Now that we have this panel off, what I need to do now is try to figure out how are we going to mount this, because one thing we have to take in consideration that there's cup holders right there. So having to look at it and then measure this out and try to find a good spot. Either you may want to center it up or bring it up a little bit. It's completely up to you.
So now that the panel is out, we have to drill these holes. Now, it's easiest if we go ahead and just disassemble the connectors themselves from the panel unit itself. So you just take off these two ring nuts, and that should go ahead and free these up. And then it gives you the freedom to be able to properly measure how big your hole needs to be and how you want to orient your plate here. So we can either orient it horizontally like this, or you can do it vertically like this. And because these are out, we can then adjust the caps to actually face upward the correct way whenever we do this.
So what I did was just go ahead and put the template down, put some painter's tape across it to keep it pretty, in place. Took a little marker, go ahead and dot those two holes. Come in here, make the circle so I know where my cuts are going to be. And I'll just go ahead and leave these two open for the end. Now that we've drilled the hole, one of the things that we did notice, as long as we stayed inside the lines, but we still have to clean up these edges a little bit. We're going to use as a Dremel and a little grinding stone. We'll go from there. Wish me luck. Say a prayer. Now that we got it cut, dremeled out, check the width, the gauge, make sure that it drops right in there, fits flush, even though that we're going to have that bracket right there. We cleaned up the edges. Look at that, in there like swimwear.
So now we have to do the wiring part. So what you have to do is you have to find the hot wire that is on when the ignition is on, that goes to your plug assembly that goes into your rear window buttons that lower the windows down, and you have to find the ground as well. So I've used a multimeter here, and I'm going to have Lee turn on the ignition, and what we should see is power going to the multimeter. And that's exactly what we see. So the wires that we have that are that hot whenever the ignition is on is this one right here. It is a sort of pink with a yellow stripe. I'm trying to focus in on it. You can see it. It's right here. You can see it's got a little dimple from the multimeter. And then the black wire is going to be your ground. So what Lee is going to do here is he's going to use the supplied wiring, and he's going to connect the positive and positive of each one of these outlet receptacles. And there is a end that's out here that we're going to go ahead and connect into the power of the harness. So he's going to do power to power. He's going to do negative to negative. Pretty simple. The connectors are actually very sturdy clip connectors, so they won't come off, not without some encouragement, that's for sure. And then we are going to splice into the main harness. So we're going to go ahead and use these taps, and we're going to tap negative to negative for the ground wire we identified. We're going to do the same thing with the positive wire, and then we should be able to plug it all up and give it a test run. All right, so now that everything is wired up, what you definitely want to do is make sure that it works prior to putting everything back together. You will thank yourself for doing this. So we have it plugged up. Lee's iPhone is right here, so when he goes ahead and turns on the ignition, we should see the phone charging. And it did say charging on there. And there's the little icon that tells us it's charging.
Yeah, it's charging.
Job well done, sir. So now that everything is working properly, we did test it, and everything is buttoned back up, I'll tell you what, this is an awesome little upgrade that I will be doing to my Gladiator coming up in the future. I think it's really cool having that versatile power. A 12-volt outlet, as well as the USBs in your back seat, can offer so much more versatility when it comes to power management. Great install, Lee. This is going to be really, really cool.
Oh yeah, great install. It's going to keep my daughter off the infotainment system.
Well, Lee, I'll tell you what, that was actually a pretty easy install. If we weren't filming, this would have taken, what, under 30 minutes
Less
to
than
do?
30 minutes,
Yeah. I mean, it was actually pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and, you know, it worked at the end. You know, everything worked. We did a function check, and everything was good. Everything was good.
I think the great thing is now, you know, you increase functionality.
Yeah.
Inside the Gladiator, and that's what a lot of Jeep owners are looking for, is something that it's functional, it's worth having in it. You know, and again, convenience is one of those big things that for a lot of folks that are Jeep owners, you lose that a little bit.
Absolutely. And again, for the price, I mean, we're talking less than $20 for everything that was involved. And if you were to get that option from the factory, what does that extra bump in that model trim or whatever cost you to do that versus just being able to do something like this pretty quick yourself?
Absolutely.
So I think it's great. Thank you, Lee, for coming over and filming this video with us and being a guest here on Dixie Overland, being able to do the install. Yeah, anytime, man.
All right, brother.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this latest video of Dixie Overland. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Also, please hit the bell for notifications when the newest videos are coming out. And if you don't mind, please share this on different platforms so other people who may be interested in this type of install can learn this information too. I've been Gary, and this is Lee from Dixie Overland. We'll see you all down the road.
Merry Christmas.
Hey,
Hello.
My name is Lee Rollins.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to Dixie Overland. Gary's letting me host today. So one thing I discovered after purchasing, start all over. I think it's a hassle, especially when you have the shit.
All right.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Dixie Overland. Not episode, we're not doing a season. Anyway. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Fuck, I said it again. This stuff.